That money don't get money, Kim. Give it to your honey in Hong Kong, China. Oh my God, cut the conversation off. They got a school teacher. The students might say and come and rush the building. They'll forget about the football game. You got to protect the teacher. Oh my God, the American way. Teacher golden rule. Kicked off for a job, get voted off legally. Oh my God, help! Working in her kitchen pretty soon. Call it a help. Color lady, Black Lives Matter. Color person.
No, I'm a big fan of not creating.
My neighbor took me to see Color Purple this week. And I seen him with that, it looked just like someone she wanted to work in her kitchen. Hello. Messing up black lives like that. You get that quote. A little boy on the prairie. Ready to this tall boy on the prairie.
The time is now 8:43, and the Flint City Council meeting is now being brought to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Ms. Lewis, present.
Ms. Priestley? Present. Ms. Herman? Present. Ms. Burns? Present. Ms. Shan?
Present.
Ms. Piper?
Present.
Ms. Worthing?
Present.
We have 7 members present.
We have 7 members present. Now time for the pledge of allegiance. Councilwoman Machado, please lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now it's time for prayer blessing, but before we do that, we will utilize this time to recognize those that may have transitioned. So we have have anyone that would like to honor someone before we pray?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Yes, I would like a, moment of silent prayer for the family of Mr. O.C. Johnson Jr. and for the family of Ms. Valerie Haywood, and for the family of Mother Ethelene Clark, and for all of the bereaved families throughout the city. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Ms. Burns?
I would like to have a moment of silence for my first cousin, Nicholas Harrison, who was larger than life, known as the Gentle Giant. And also for my, we had 2 deaths in our family and 2 funerals at Saturday. And also for Jay Mahan, for his grieving widow, Sakina, my cousin. And for all the other bereaved families that, you know, as we start the year, who are suffering and dealing with grief.
All right, anyone else? All right, so seeing none, I will go ahead and ask for those. So remember, Mr. Dewan Lavelle Willis Sr., Mr. Dewan Lavelle Willis Sr. So we will have a moment of silence starting now. All righty. So now we will be led in a prayer by Councilwoman Priestley.
Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing on tonight's council meeting and on our fair city. Lord, only with you are all things possible. So we ask you to soften our hearts, harden our ears, so that we can get your work done and be successful, and our city be successful. Amen.
Yeah. All right. So now the reading of the Disorderly Person City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code section 3110. Disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly person, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators shall be removed from meetings. Now, are there any requests for changes or additions to the agenda?
Madam Chair?
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I will have, county clerk here. I would like 230475 moved before public speaking.
Okay. 220475 move for public meeting. All right, any more?
Madam Chair,
Ms. Burns.
I'd like to separate, oh, thank you.
All right, is that all? Ms. Burns.
Oh, yes.
So did you say anything?
No, because we aren't on separations yet. Councilwoman Priestley and Councilwoman, Winfrey Carter, and we are reading going through the.
Okay, anyone else have any, requests for changes or addition to the agenda? All right, so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we will vote on moving resolution 230-475 right before public speaking. So, again, wanted to state for the record. So right now, we're about to vote to move resolution 230-475 before public speaking. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Now.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Walker Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Bass?
What'd she say?
She wants some milk. Pussycat.
Ms. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing? Worthing?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 2 no?
The vote is 5 yes, 2 no. Resolution 230-475 will be right before public speaking. All right, so, right now, it's time to go into resolution 230-475.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Priestley?
I make a motion to approve 230-475.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve resolution 230-475. Any support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Pfeiffer. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
I think maybe do we go to Councilman Pfeiffer because he wants to speak to the clerk?
No,
We could,
I just wanted,
No, go ahead, no.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns. You have the floor.
Hold on, Madam Chair. This is
Oh.
my time. Let me have my time. I will let Councilman Pfeiffer go. That was actually his motion. So
I make a motion.
you made the motion. Well, he actually asked to have it to be put first. So both of you did.
So for the record, there is no rule that says.
And it's just respect though.
Again, there's no rule. So Ms. Burns, you asked for the floor and your time is ticking.
Okay, yeah, because they're being rude. It was a courtesy to let him go because he did ask to have it moved up. So our precedents had been to normally have it to be pushed up. So I know what Councilman Pfeiffer is going to ask. So we tried voting on this resolution. Per the Flint City Charter, we are not in compliance with the charter, which states that we are supposed to have an election as soon as possible or within 90 days. This council has failed to do that. So we are not in compliance. And it is section 2-410, vacancy in the office of the council member. It says schedule, section B2, schedule a primary election as soon as possible to be followed by a special election to fill the office for the balance of the unexpired term. I think it is fair to make sure that I don't want to choose who represents the 7th ward. That should be the voters. That is the voters who should be deciding who sits in that seat. But I'm disappointed that you have the interim person who voted no to even have it on here tonight.
Wow.
She voted, voted no to approve to move it and didn't show up to vote on January 3rd, left on the 18th, and on the 20th when this arose or it was placed on our agenda. 7th Ward has the responsibility, have the right. The voters, they choose, it's our democracy, who they want for that seat. Like all the other 8 seats, the voters chose, or they should have the right to choose. I think by us, this evading this and they broke quorum and left, didn't show up, didn't even call our last council meeting of the year to finish the business to order. We had the person who wants to fill that seat leave the council meeting. That's disappointing. If we're still doing that work today, which is Monday, January 8th. We should have had all this done last January 18th. Instead, because the quorum was broke, council meeting wasn't called, we had to have a special meeting for the 20th. It still wasn't done. Then we had the meeting on January the 3rd. It still wasn't done. How can you want to sit in the seat and you don't show up to follow the charter? We take an oath. The oath tells us to uphold the Constitution, and we should be upholding also the charter. The charter doesn't state, as Councilwoman Lewis did post, that she wanted to have the election. She thought it was fair. She put it on social media to give opportunity for people to have more time to, for the 7th Ward. That's not her responsibility to dictate what the 7th Ward, what the charter. The charter is very clear. It's not ambiguous. There's no ambiguity. It's very clear. 90 days or as soon as possible. It was unfortunate, Councilwoman Lewis has a right to her opinion. Was stated having the election as soon as possible would have been in February. Having an election in May isn't in the best interest of the 7th Ward. The 2nd Ward councilperson should not be telling the 7th Ward what's in the best interest of the 7th Ward. She should not be doing that. What she should be doing as the President of the City Council is upholding the charter. The charter is very clear. Yes, the election should have been in February. It should be a fair process, and it wasn't. Then she went on to say that because they will only have until January 23rd to submit signatures, until January 26th to withdraw their name on the ballot. That should not be the concern. The concern should be following the charter. You get 75 signatures in a day. You get out there and hustle those signatures. I've done it. You knock on those doors, you talk to the people, you can get it done. That's not for the 2nd Ward person to try to sway, in my opinion, an election. And she stated an August election would allow interested 7th Ward residents to gather their signatures, withdraw their name for candidates. If you put it in, why would you immediately withdraw? Why are we speculating what may happen? And then she put, I hope my colleagues will share the same sentiment. No, this colleague wants there to be a fair election. Let the 7th Ward choose who they want. I don't want to bear that responsibility for that demographic or for that group of people. They need to choose their own people that they vote. Disappointed that, 3 meetings, we're in meeting number 4, and we're still working on this. This is not democracy. It's not. We have a responsibility to follow the charter, to put this election up and let the 7th Ward people vote who they want to represent them. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else would like to speak first round?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Priest.
Sorry. Yes, I am going to vote in favor of this resolution. I never was going to vote against it. I don't know where ideas came from that I was. I think if we weren't already having a primary in May, that might have been a different story. But it is as soon as possible. It's the same day as another election inside the city, and so I feel that we should have it then. And Ms. Burns is right. I did my 75 signatures in 2 nights after work, so it is possible. Thank you.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Shah?
Yes, so, we can't say, I don't want to pick the 7th Ward representatives and lay our lives, because we know we're trying to lead people to pick. The bottom line is this election is happening May. It was always happening May. I was never against when it was going to happen. I was at those meetings that you keep trying to say I was not at. That's not true. Everyone was always in agreement for the soonest possible. But because I don't like being argumentative and I don't want to keep doing the yapping and the answering to lies, I just let stuff go.
And so, Ms. Burns, you don't have the floor. Proceed,
and so here we are, once again, with the misleading and the lies. I'm not ducking anything. I said the same day that I was appointed that the appointment process is not necessarily fair to democracy, but I understood why it had to happen. I've said time and time again, I look forward to being able to earn my seat and earn my votes. So while we're going back and forth about all of this stuff, when for the past few months, my like the 2nd Ward is correct, this should have been done in February. But for the past few months, the very colleague that's claiming somebody is ducking something has wrote before and thousands of times because somebody from the audience told her to. Worry about the 6th Ward. Because the 7th Ward is going to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to be fine with their decision either way. It's democracy. And why do you think someone wants to dub democracy? I don't know. But you do more subversion of democracy than anybody up here. So let's just go. Put the vote out there. It was always going to be made. We were never not going to do it May. So try again. All of this other stuff is just lies to try and paint a picture that's just not even accurate. You can go back and review every tape I've ever said anything about democracy. And you go back to when we were trying to be appointed, we were being interviewed, and I said, I get why the appointment process is such a problem for people, and I look forward to running when it is time. I look forward to being an elected official. You all seem to have a problem with appointments, but the thing that I am very clear on is appointed time is also anointed time. So I'm not sure. We're gonna do what we're gonna do, and it's gonna go however it's gonna go. Feel however you wanna feel. It's fine. All of the sides and everything else for people who don't even live in Flint, let alone the 7th Ward, don't move me either. Let's vote for the May election and keep it moving. Anyone else speak first round? Okay, seeing none. All right, so seeing none, I'll go ahead and take my time. Unfortunately, instead of my colleagues speaking truth to power, I hear my post being read about the colleague in the 2nd Ward. Well, it's kind of ironic for my colleague in the 6th Ward to tell the 7th Ward what they need, and the 2nd Ward can't give her perspective without it being a problem. See, that's the problem. We have too much attacking on this council. This resolution has nothing to do with the colleague in the 6th Ward, so therefore, I have nothing else to say about her. This is exclusively about democracy in the 2nd Ward. And as our colleagues talk about who broke quorum and who didn't come, the tape will definitely show. On the 18th, when we had pandemonium, when we had our 6th Ward council person arguing with the 9th person about the 9th person not getting any sex, we had a whole lot of chaos going on. The councilwoman in the 2nd Ward hit the gavel to bring things to order and to call the meeting. People just looked at me like I didn't call the meeting. And the trajectory of that meeting was going in a negative way per that meeting. So yes, so what the chair did, so since no one wanted to get in their seats and call the meeting, the chair went ahead and gathered her belongings to go. So let's not act like the meeting was not called to order. The calling of the order was not respected by individuals on this body. And so then we had a special meeting and we brought the same resolution back to the floor on the 8th, on the 20th. Unfortunately, we had colleagues break quorum because Member Pfeiffer, he received his 2nd warning. So, and the tape is there. So please feel free to go back and play it. One thing I don't know about democracy, as we have people utilizing our chambers to talk about recalling me on something fictitious. That's fine, you know, that's totally fine. But I'm not going to speak out now until I got nasty. When people were weight shaming and etc., I don't say anything because I allow you to have hate speech and I allow you to utilize your freedom of speech. I allow you to go to people's house and tell them untruth. Because the fact of the matter is, when people sign their recall for me, they should already know that they're signing this because I was not at a meeting on May the 20th. And I was not at the meeting on May the 20th was because I'm a member of the League of Women Voters. And I was at a conference doing my due diligence. So when people start making up lies, she don't live in the 2nd Ward, things of that nature, that's what they're going around saying. But guess what? It's your right to go around to people and lie. And I'm allowing you to do so. That's called democracy. And so democracy is taking place tonight right here with the 7th Ward. If they vote it, they'll vote for it. If not, they won't. But let's not try to say that the 2nd Ward was obstructing this election. That is the furthest thing from truth. Because it's going to be what it's going to be. Either she's doing the work or she's not. And so we definitely don't need outsiders coming into our chambers telling us what to do. But that's what democracy looks like. I guess when you don't do it in your hometown, you come to Flint where it's entertainment. That's fine too. Feel free. But what we will do tonight, I'm totally for the May election. Now I said what I said, absolutely. What this will do, this will shorten the window for those that are interested to apply. And then it'll give them 3 days to change their mind. Just like we had someone going for the clerk position. The lady pulled her name out, but she didn't want to be a part of this foolishness.
Some people might have a come to Jesus meeting. You know what? I thought I did, but I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to sit in that seat. So some people need more time. And then, once your name is on the ballot, it's locked. So if you decide that you don't want to do it, your name will still be on the main ballot. So you're going to take votes away from people that actually do. Now that's what my post was saying. That's what I was talking about. So again, if you want to limit the amount of people that will apply in this primary and to go into the general, we can definitely do this. I don't care. This is democracy. Democracy now. So let's go ahead and get it going. I call the question.
Support.
Wow.
All right. It has been properly supported by Ms. Gordon. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Murphy Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Mr. Shad?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
No.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no. That failed. So we are on to the second round. You want the second round?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns.
Thank you. So, yes, this is democracy, and we know what the charter says. There's no ambiguity, it's not ambiguous, it's very clear and factual. I stated before, when it was time for us to vote, it was a difficult thing, because we never thought that we would, God bless you, never thought that we would lose a council member to fill that. I don't want to ever have it put upon me to choose for someone else's ward. I feel it should be the residents, because that's their ward, that's their representative. That's a relationship that they're going to build. And yes, it should have been in February. It wasn't done. But we cannot say, for our last meeting, we were missing 4 members on January the 3rd. That's a fact. We cannot say for December the 18th that city council, we had special affairs, we had really 3 meetings that day. That last meeting, I don't believe was even called. It wasn't called. What we did do was get the business done. We did get the business done. We didn't get it done on the 18th. It was the holiday. The 18th, it wasn't done. So they can say, I had someone telling me, I have never left my seat for anyone but Tanya Burns. Tanya Burns' ideas, what I vote is the will of my ward. I vote the way my ward wants me to vote all day. And I'll continue to do that. My demographic is very different. I clearly understand it. I am engaged in my ward. I'm the only ward that has 6 associations. And I attend those meetings, unless generally if I'm sick or if I have a meeting here. And then I do give my quarterly meeting. So I'm very present. And that's why when you're engaged, I don't ever want to have my hands on picking who the 7th ward. I don't. 7th ward is very unique. And the voters need to choose. Because if you get a person in the 7th ward that they're not happy with, and we're elected them, I don't want to keep kicking that can down the road. The election should have been in February, for whatever reason, it was not done. As far as putting on we have the May 7th election now, we can't afford to do another election. To you, Madam Chair, to the clerk, how much does it cost for an election? Approximately.
I really couldn't tell you that. It just depends on, like, this wouldn't cost as much, obviously, because it's just for one ward. But it just depends on how many boards we need and everything else.
Well, it could be a cost. They say we need training. You know, we need a parliamentarian. I don't know if we need a parliamentarian for this council or warden. We need to be conscious that this election needs to be held. No one should be sitting in that seat longer than the charter specifies you should be in that seat, period. That doesn't change. Kicking the can down the road, we have no business or right doing that. I mean, if the voters like you, they'll vote you in. Elections are hard. You talk to a lot of people. You have to be present. But the charter is very clear. 90 days or as soon as possible. I believe Ally, before she left, let us know she was vacating her seat. Maybe in July 1st it was vacated. So we've had more than enough time to have this. This should have been done long time ago. There's no reason we should be talking about this right now, because it should be a fair selection process. There are many people who want to run. Let 7th Ward choose who they want for 7th Ward. Let that person be elected, not someone that's appointed. It should be a fair democratic process. And I'm not going to change that. I'm going to stick with that. It should be a fair democratic process. And my only opinion is make sure we follow the charter for the election. I don't have any other opinions. If they put their name on, take it off, do what you have to do. And as far as printing ballots, I know that you did, and I respect you to our Genesee County Clerk. I adore him dearly. I think he does a fantastic job. He's transparent, he's fair, and he's open, and I appreciate having that. And even when we were talking to our clerk, but then my question came when Attorney Kim said we're going to have it in August. That wasn't the charter. And I don't think our city attorney should have been suggesting when we have an election. It would have been August and then November. Our charter is very clear. There's no ambiguity at all. I'm done, Madam Chair.
Anyone else in the second round? Ms. Priestley?
I find it interesting that the votes are here to do this, but we have to go to 2 rounds of discussion. Why? Why couldn't we just vote on it and be done? Thank you.
Anyone else in the second round?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Thank you. Because people have things to say, questions to ask. That's why we're doing a second round. Madam Chair, through you to Clerk Donahue. Clerk, so when we vote on this, if it gets approved tonight, okay, when will individuals have to have their 75 signatures in? What is the date?
They would have to have everything to the city clerk's office by the 23rd.
Of January.
Correct.
Okay.
We have until the 29th. I believe it is the calendar.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted that to be on the record for those who are planning to collect signatures to be on the ballot. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else in the second round? Anyone else in the second round? Okay, well, I will go ahead and utilize my time. Because again, we have to make sure that we're being actual and factual. What's happening here is no one is taking away by recommending that the election is held in August. No one is taking away the 7th Ward voice. We're trying to amplify the 7th Ward voice. Because right now, it'll be due January 23rd. Right now it's January the 8th. So what, give you maybe 2.5 weeks maybe? And then you have to, like we said before, you have to decide whether you are in it by the 26th. Now, if you change your mind between then and May, your name is still going to be on the ballot, and you're going to split votes. You're going to take votes away from people. And so the point is, we want to make sure that those that are signing up for this commitment here, that they have enough time to be lucid in their thinking and to make the right decision, because it just doesn't affect you. This affects your family. So someone's grandmother might be up here. Well, if your grandmother getting a text called handkerchief head Negroes and dumb crackers and stuff, then you got to make sure that grandma is able to handle stuff like that. You have to be willing to make sure that somebody's willing to get up here and talk about grandma wig. You got to make sure. Because this is a
Point of order. It's not germane, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair is very germane.
It's not germane.
Madam Chair is very germane.
that's not germane to
Madam
this
Chair, it's
resolution.
very germane, so point of order denied, that's what I'm talking about. People must make sure that this is what they want to take on. So that's why I said it'd be in the best interest to have it in August, because then the due date will be April. You would have until April to get everything set, to talk over to your family, get your signatures, make sure that this is what you want. Because once you're up here, I mean, you can always resign, but no one wants to put in the work and the effort to be in vain, and nobody wants to wait ballots, wait until you vote on ballot. That's just plain and simple. However, if democracy looks like, excuse me, who? All right, thank you, Ms. Donahue, Mr. Donahue, thank you. Absolutely. So, what we need to have happen, we just need people to think. No one's trying to rig or take anything. We're trying to make sure that you or your loved one that may choose to serve here, that this is what they want to do, and that we are not wasting valuable 7 more votes on individuals that might change their mind. That's all we're trying to do. So as my colleague giggle, hope my tires aren't getting slashed. We're going to go ahead and call on the vote.
Get there. Oh my God.
So now we're about to vote on resolution 230475, and this is to hold a May election. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Leslie Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shaq?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Madam Clerk, did you call the vote?
Because I was still doing a roll call, and Mr. Murphy sat down, and I just called him. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
The vote is yes, 0.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. That resolution passes. Now it's time for public speaking. First speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, Council, I'm Mario Mitchell. And, for the record, through, Madam Chair, through Mr. Murphy, 3rd Ward Councilman. Mr. Murphy, about the 195 package deal, the houses, and I'm glad you put it back on the record to be reconsidered, because my house was one of them things. I believe that's how you got me out of my house and tore it down the time you got it out. I've been in the house for 15 years on 3512 Mildred Street. My landlord went to prison for 3 years, and he gave it to his father-in-law to take care of the house till he come out of prison for messing up income taxes. And he said, and now you coming on being counsel, it got me out of my house and tore it down, and you should have rebuilt it. I already had asked for the money to rebuild it from that bank there on Martin Luther King Street where they was giving out funds to fix your roof. And you up there talking that junk like you're doing now, holding up the $50 million and put it back because you never be president. You just like come back and then you just come back to just do the money and don't give the people nothing. Think nobody ain't gonna say nothing about it. And through Mr. Burns, the letter people are out of the state sending me checks and stuff in the mail. I want you to write fix it for me in the right, so thank you, where I can get, thank you, make room for more. I don't know how to write letters to it. I tried it. Would you do that for me? Thank you. And, what, Mr. Murphy? But, man, like you got Laredo over there, the change of bounds after you. That's another place over there. You got time you gave it to change the master plans on Laredo Street. Then they'll put you back into the work over by Burson Field House where you're supposed to be. But that's my neighborhood now, and now you're trying to get it all together. But man, make it happen. I want my money directly to me instead of giving to them. What you call it? When you put the $50 million in, write it out to me because I stayed there for 15 years. I didn't realize I was in the house that long. And all that stuff. And now look, you do it or we go, we the people of, and Mr. Mashak, you, 7th Ward, you up there, and we gotta have a kitchen in the basement of City Hall. You and Miss Mercedes up there and telling you what to say.
All right. Next up, Mr. Round Clerk.
Okay, hello again. I'm Doug Matthews, retired social worker from the 7th Ward, and I will be voting for my council role in May. I'd like to share my perspective on Mayor Neely's pay raise. When I migrated to New Zealand and later became a citizen in 2008, I occasionally encountered what the Kiwis call tau poppy syndrome, a tendency to discredit or criticize those who stand out, who strive for excellence. Mayor Neely may also face a bit of this from some council members and some members of the public. In my view, and in my experience, he's a gracious man, a person of integrity, and a capable leader who has not only achieved politically, but has also brought tangible benefits to our residents. Speaking of graciousness, he spent more than 5 minutes at the beginning of his recent State of the City speech naming and commending his administration's partners, including this council. Mayor Neely has a record. He has worked tirelessly in partnership with various stakeholders, demonstrating the importance of collaboration for community development. Let's not ignore Mayor Neely's excellent relations with officials and politicians at the federal, state, and local levels. These relationships have not only garnered support for our city, but they have resulted in tangible outcomes. With local and state political leaders, Mayor Neely secured funding from the state, rescuing city worker pensions that are the lifelines of many in our community. This money also addressed Flint's structural deficit and will help ensure financial sustainability into the future. This year, Mayor Neely and the city were able to ensure historic raises for all the hardworking men and women of the city of Flint, rectifying historical oversights and acknowledging the contribution of labor. Additionally, the city, in collaboration with Genesee County and the Land Bank, dedicated $16 million from the ARPA funds to address structural blight. This partnership resulted in a total investment of $40 million, with the aim of demolishing 2,200 structures in our community by the end of this year. This is not halting progress. This is full steam ahead. In addition to the above gains, Mayor Neely, again collaborating with others, made further strides in economic investments, community development, housing initiatives, and infrastructure improvements, including our clean water system. Let's not succumb to the tall poppy syndrome. Mayor Neely gave raises to his employees and officials. Let's give him a raise.
What?
All right, next public speaker.
Next speaker is Bishop Bernadette Jefferson.
Oh, Lord.
Elizabeth Taylor. Next speaker is James Moore.
Oh, lawyer. Silver. How about Murphy? The package deal.
James Moore, resident, second ward, always down here at City Hall trying to learn a little bit more than I learned the day before. You know, Michigan's a great place. I lived all across the country, and in the midst of being a great state, we got great cities, we got great people, and I've been hearing tonight a lot about respect. So I'm going to look towards Rebecca Franklin out of Detroit, former resident down there. She made that son very popular. She made it mean something. And we need to play more often so that we can go back and learn some of the words. And maybe then we can all get along and get some things done. I want to take my last 2 minutes to thank the city of Midland and its residents. I seen up there on the news how you guys are working on your voter registration, your voters ID, just being neighbors and learning shaking hands and making telephone calls. They're doing cookie giveaways and donuts just to encourage that when the day comes to vote, they will know where to go and vote. And I had the good fortune in high school playing against them up there, and they always came with the A game. And I see that they have not dropped the ball, because when they come down for the 8th district, Midland's going to show up, and Flint, we're going to still be wondering where do we go and vote at. We better wake up. We better wake up, because the vote's coming. We dealing with the little thing in May or whatever the case may be with the 7th ward, but we got business at hand, and we got to start taking care of business, because if we don't, they're going to show us up there at Midland. They can.
What?
Hi there, co-speaker.
Next speaker is Bethany Hazard. Next speaker is Rich Jones. Next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
Get back in your seat, Madam Lewis.
My name is Beverly Biggs. I'm in the 3rd ward. Candace, I was shocked that you said no the first time. You didn't want to get on that ballot. Oh, God. It's going to be hard for you. You will not be elected. He's going to be the only person to vote for you. That's sad to say. It's kind of hard to know that you guys, there's 2 on the ballot now. And we work at it, it's going to be 3 on the ballot. It's going to be a pitiful sight to see. Quincy, you probably going to need some money for your rent. I wonder if she's going to use some of that $50,000 once you lose that job for being on here and on slick leave, not sick, slick. You know, it's going to be hard for you. I hope you get your pennies. And like I say, we need to do a better job. You guys gave $40 million to the general funds. You don't have it or not. I guess you feel good with that. Rest of you, Quincy, you've been raised up poor all your life. And now you get on the board and you act stupid. You've been poor all your life. Now something coming into the 3rd ward that you represent, and you will lose everything to stick with what Liddell them is doing, and you know it's wrong. They, like Liddell say, if you know better, you do better, but you guys know better, and you don't do better. It's bad. This, it's happy to know that the 7th Ward gonna be put to the side, and the 9th Ward don't look, she's saying she ain't coming back, but I don't believe it until May. When May come, I bet her name be on that ballot. How much you guys want to bet? So y'all better get ready, because she's not going anywhere, because she think ain't nobody gonna take that seat. We got a lot of folks to clear that seat right there. And we don't have to hear these racial comments about how we act ignorant, but we act truthfully, like you do. Like you tried to say Martin Luther King. You don't even know nothing about Martin Luther King. If you go to sleep tonight, you won't know about Martin Luther other King. Have a good day.
Our next public speaker, please.
Next speaker is Monica Dallin. Jan Marie Arbor.
Good evening, Council. Jan Marie Arbor, 7th Ward. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you who sincerely voted to approve the special election on May 7th and the general on August 7th. Ms. Priestley, I would really like to honor you for making very clear from the very beginning that you had no objection to that. I think that you set a precedent for the persons who typically vote along with you or you with them on other things, and I appreciate that. Things certainly turned out differently than I expected. William Shakespeare's Hamlet made a statement to his mother Gertrude that goes something like, "Methinks the lady protests too much." What does that mean? Her excessive protestations about infidelity were questionable. And that's how I'm left to feel about both Ms. Lewis and Ms. Mushat. Your ardent protestations against moving the election forward for the 7th Ward by your absence from meetings, your breaking of quorum, and it's okay to, object to what I'm saying, but I do object to what you did. And it's very revealing because it causes others to question your true motivations. We know that you're expecting 50,000 because you said you're going to get it, and you need a certain number of people in order for you to get it, and that's for you as well as Ms. Mushat. You need one another to continue your grift. Your disingenuous statements this evening regarding the 7th Ward, Ms. Lewis and Ms. Mushat, are clearly indicative of your lack of character. Furthermore, I would like to speak to the character of Ms. Mushat as it relates to her poorly contrived conversation with Ms. Ricks for allowing me to speak about the 7th Ward meeting on January 3rd. She objected to the fact that I said that she consciously made efforts to delay the meeting. I can't go any further as my time is nearly up. But Candace, I once called you a liar. I stand by that. You are a liar, and that's how many within the 7th Ward regard you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Tom Cardone.
Tom Cardone, Wayne State want to speak briefly to the ARPA funds. I think there's some points that really need to be made again. I was reminded of them again, hearing from Claire and Clinton, one of the people who's been fighting for this city the longest and most bravely and courageously and persistently. As we all know, Flint received the second highest amount of ARPA funds in the state of Michigan.
Wow.
After Detroit, excuse me. But Flint is not the second biggest city in Michigan. In fact, as of a couple years ago, it was the 15th biggest. There are 13 cities at least in Michigan that are, besides Detroit, that are larger than Flint, but did not get as much money as Flint. And the reasons that the treasurer gave more than $90 million to Flint, the second largest amount, were very clearly spelled out by Treasury about why some communities got a lot more, and this explains why Flint got second most in the state, jumping over those 13 other cities. And it's because of the disparities in the city of Flint. Because following the science, Treasury knew that the impact of COVID was not equal. It was hard on everyone, very hard, but it magnified already existing inequalities along race, income, gender, other things like that. And so Flint, based on its census tracts, received a very large amount. I have seen over the last year that I've been paying attention to the city council, one thing after another to take the money for the purposes that it was intended and shunt it off to other interests, to moneyed interests, to personal connections. In other words, what can we do, many of you, as elected officials, the mayor, city council, to get as much out of this money for our own advancement, our own political advancement, sometimes our own financial advancement? That's not what the monies were intended for.
Next public speaker, please.
Next speaker is Casey Jones.
Go ahead. Wow. See what you done done to Mr. Dumas Murphy? Would have been Ward 2.
That was our last speaker.
All right, so seeing that's our last speaker, public speaking is now officially closed. Now it's time for council response. Anyone from council would like to respond to the public?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you so much. I want to respond to Beverly Diggs. The comment she made. I've been sitting here trying to, ever since she made the first accusations about me allegedly messing with young men. I tried to just ignore that because, and I think about hurt people. And every time I've watched her come to this podium, she has came up here and said derogatory comments towards individuals. Not talked about policy, not talked about procedures, but made derogatory comments towards people. I watched when we was on the elevator and she called you out your name when we was at the county building and she called you out your name. That's where I really lost respect. Now she's talking about my upbringing, where my mother worked at Hurley Hospital and worked her butt off to make sure we had clothes, lights, food. We never went without. Now she's getting up here talking about me growing up poor, when not one time us growing up, even if she lived in the neighborhood where I grew up at, I never knew she lived over here. So for her to get up and now you want to talk about my upbringing and me being poor, something must be really going on that you feel like every time you hit that podium, you gotta attack somebody up here and not the policy and the procedures they make it, but personally attack them. You're talking about going to my job to do whatever you want to do. You can do what you want to do because you're a grown person. I was at my job today and I missed work. I can't wait to go back to work, but I'm gonna go back to work when it's that right time. I'm not gonna go back to work because you think I need to go back to work because I'm sitting here at city council. I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing, but every time you hit that podium, you always trying to attack people, and you older than me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Anyone else like to speak to their council response?
You ain't gonna do nothing.
Excuse me.
You ain't gonna do nothing. Okay, well, you come do it
Please
then.
hold, Mr. Murphy, please hold. Sir, you're out of order. Sir, you're out of order, okay? So let's not do that. All right. Anyone else like to speak?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
Thank you. I want to thank everyone who is still here through this time. And we have not even begun yet, and I'm going to keep this very short. Mr. Matthews, I do want to touch on the employee's pension, because that has been a concern, because Flint was funded at 26%, and we were supposed to get $220 million. 2 infusions, one of 170, the other one of 50 million. We only received the 170. Flint was actually one of the most underfunded through our pension system, so retirees are still concerned. We never got the 50 million that Mary Lou said we were going to get. We never got it. And those retirees want to know where it's at. Yep. We have not gotten it. And so we do have a pension deficit issue. Because if we had gotten a supposedly 220, Flint's pension payment would be for the next 10 years, $40 million. 40 million. Because it's so underfunded. So there are people who are retired who are concerned, thinking that their pension may reduce to 40 cents on the dollar. Our pension system needs to be fixed. It is not. We have not gotten the money. People have served their city in every department and capacity, retired, depend on their pension, and they may have to go back to work. That payment is going to come due. That payment will send us back to emergency management. That payment will bankrupt us. That payment is detrimental, and we need it. We needed more than if we had the 220 million, that only put us at 60% funded. It is ideally that they want us to be funded over 90%. We're not there. So I just want to put the real facts out there, and I'll share that with you. I have talked with the CFO before, and then Jane Mager, who's no longer with us, and each CFO. Retirees are concerned about that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else who would like to speak on council response?
Madam Chair?
Councilwoman Shaw?
Yes, so thank you to everyone who stayed. I know a bit of a long night, but thank you to everyone who stayed and who's had an opportunity to speak. I do think it's unfortunate that we do get called names and it's completely baseless and people call you a liar with no lies being told. But I understand that happens. I understand people have disagreements. I look forward to a May 7th election. Mr. Matthews, thank you for your support. I mean, you and I will be the best votes ever. Thank you.
All right, anyone else who would like to speak their council response? All right. So seeing that we have no one else that will speak, I'll go ahead and be the last one to close out. It's definitely a new day on this body, and we're looking forward to getting some of the great work done. And I challenge my colleagues, because we have colleagues that continue to say repetitive things that are not true. But as we talk about the mayor bringing $210 more pension, let's work on solutions. We have a lot of people pointing false fingers, but okay, let's work on solutions. Let's not have conversation and dialogue about people. let's talk about solutions. So if the pension fund is short, let's go ahead and come up with strategic ways to how we can beef it up. We have so many municipalities throughout the entire nation. You trying to tell me that you can't reach out to one, study some, to see how they're doing it, so how we can make a difference here? We're charged with this. We are here for that. We're not here to demean people. We're not here to tell people how much we don't like them. We're not here for any of that. Personalities are what they are. But when you're grown and you're professional, you work with your colleagues, whether you quote unquote care for them or not. You're not here to care for them, you're here to care for the community. So as we care for the community, let's go ahead and work on solutions. So, okay, what can we do to beef up the pension system? What are other municipalities doing to do so? I tell my colleagues to figure that out. How can we beef up the general fund? How can we do more things to benefit the residents instead of being malicious? Instead of stating things over and over again that are not true, but the more you do, people believe them. Let's go ahead and work on something positive. Because what we're doing isn't working. Ask the people. Ask the pension fund. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to
Madam Chair.
go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I can make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, there's a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Priestley.
I'd like to separate, 230362.
230362.
Yes, and 230471.
471.
Yes. And that is all I would like to do.
Okay, is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any more separations?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to separate 230449, the censure for Councilmember Jerry Winfrey Carter. It's 230449. And I would like to separate 230466. The setting a public hearing, amended council rules, implementation of amended council rules with immediate effect.
All right.
Let me see. I think that's, did we send 230460? We sent that back to. Oh, okay. Oh, it's here in council. Okay. I think that should be separated as well. 230460.1.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
I would like to separate 230472. And I would also like to separate, 230472. Is the one that and then I also want to separate 230364.
All right. Any more separation?
Council President Kennedy.
Go ahead, Ms.
I just want to call to the attention of the council, resolution 476, to set a public hearing date because this has been delayed from when it was originally submitted. It would need to be amended before being approved so that a new date could be set.
Madam Chair, I'd like to separate 230476.
Okay, let's read from here. All right, thank you, Attorney Kim, and God is free. Anyone else? Okay, well, seeing none, we'll go ahead and we will vote to approve the consent agenda. And the consent agenda will consist of 230457, 230468, 230467, 230443, 230444, 230458, and 23. Did we separate 230459? No. And 230459. That'll be the consent agenda. So roll call, Madam Clerk.
23046011. Oh, that's a break, sorry.
All right, so roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Montgomery.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Shannon.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. The consent agenda passes. So now we'll move on to resolutions. Resolution 230362.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to table indefinitely 230362.
230362. And with that one?
Yes.
All right, is there any support? Any support?
To table
You have to table indefinitely resolution 230362.
This is by administration's request.
Support.
All right, then moving it and probably supported. Is there any debate?
Madam Chair,
Ms. Burns?
can we get that number again? I apologize.
230362.
Can you read all for the grant matching fund? Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. Is there any debate? The first one, for the homegrown. Okay, seeing that we have none, we're gonna go ahead and move to the table indefinitely. Resolution 230362. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Shannon.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Montgomery.
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Resolution 230362 will be tabled indefinitely. Now we will move on to resolution 230364.
I move to approve resolution 230364.
All right, it's been moved and supported by Councilwoman Priestley. Any debate?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
Yes, through you to, the city attorney. This resolution was for the sale of alcohol and liquor, I believe, on Sundays before 12. We talked about making an amendment to the resolution to where, the, stores within, around, in the surrounding community. Or could you explain, was you able to make the amendment that was necessary?
Yes, after consulting with the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, they recommended certain language which I incorporated into the, I believe I sent that to you previously. If you don't have that with you, I can print it out and bring copies for the members here shortly. Effectively, it would allow for the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for on-premises consumption in the city of Flint, but prohibited for sales for off-premises consumption. So that would mean that restaurants and the like will be able to serve drinks with brunch on Sunday mornings, but sales until noon, as is currently the case.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I support this resolution. Thank you. That's all.
Would you like the amended language to do that change? Because I believe that the version that's in the packet is the original as submitted.
Yes.
Okay, so
absolutely.
I'll bring that to you shortly.
Do we need to do a 230364.1 to amend this then?
Yes, I believe that would be.
I'll make a motion to amend this resolution to 230364.1, but let me make a motion to put this on hold till we have a copy of that resolution in front of us.
This should just take me about 2 minutes. I just set up my printer, so just to walk back to my desk.
It's getting out, Kim.
Well, so right with my colleagues, would like to make a motion to postpone this to the end of our resolution until we get that. Or y'all, how y'all want to do it?
One time then.
Request for information.
Yes.
Hold on, what's your request?
I would just request a 5-minute recess so we can look at it.
Go in. I mean,
So the chair orders a 5-minute recess, without objection.
Jim, you were saved by the recess. Yep, they're gonna say, check me. Comes to the lawyers, they get messed up. Turn it off all with their water money. Come back. We need you in this council meeting. Trying to get. Tim that messed up and can't clean up. I'm trying to clean it up.
On-premises consumption, but prohibits the sale of beer for off-premises consumption. Does that mean that they can drink it in the?
Actually, you made it up. Yes.
All right. Recess is now over. And I believe Mr. Murphy, you have the floor.
So, this amendment is for 230364.1. So I'm making a motion to amend resolution 230364 to resolution 230364.1.
All right, there's a motion for to amend the resolution to 230364.1. Any support? Supported by Ms. Priestley. All right, any discussion? All right, discussion second round. All right, we're going to go ahead and vote to amend resolution 230364.1. Roll call, clerk.
Mr. Shep?
Yes.
Mr. Piper? Ms.
Oh.
Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Ricardo?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Resolution has been amended to 230364.1. Now, what's the pleasure of the body for resolution 230364.1?
I would like to,
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
I would like to move resolution 230364.1 for approval.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to move resolution 230364.1 for approval. Any support? Supported by Ms. Priestley. Any discussion? Any discussion in the second round? All right, so now we're going to move to vote. We're going to vote to approve resolution 230364.1. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Ricardo?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shep?
Yes.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Resolution 230364.1 has passed. So now we're moving on to resolution 230471. Pleasure of the body.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Priestley.
per the, charter, I want to make a motion to table this indefinitely.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to table resolution 230471 indefinitely. Is there any support?
Support.
Supported by the councilwoman in the
Madam
seventh
Chair,
ward. Okay, I heard my name.
Madam Chair,
So go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
yes, according to our charter, this had to be, approved or denied, had some kind of action within 30 days of this action. This is passed in 30 days, so it's no longer relevant. And it was approved without objection.
Anyone else like to speak in the first round?
Yes.
So, on the only round, excuse me, go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
I'll be voting against, this. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else on this round? Seeing none, I will be the last to speak. So hearing that we are past the 30-day time period, and we'll be in violation of charter if we were to do this. I want to make sure I'm clear. Is that what you said, Ms. Christie?
I said based on the charter, it's a moot point.
It's a moot point? Got it. All right. And, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and, agree to table this as well. So let's go ahead and put it to the vote. Madam Clerk, we're going to vote to table resolution 230471 indefinitely. Roll call.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
I abstain to take up the down in 30 days.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Murphy Carter.
No.
Ms. Burns.
No.
Mr. Shad.
Abstain.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
No.
Three yes, 3 no, 2 abstentions.
Well, it's 3 yes, 3 no, and 2 abstentions. So, that tabling failed. All right, so we are still on resolution 230471.
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve resolution 230471. Any support?
Support.
Supported by, Ms. Burns. All right, so any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Through you to the city attorney. This resolution, denial of the mayor's pay raise increase. If we, approve this, this resolution is for us to deny it. If we approve this, will we be in violation of the charter based on your research of this resolution, or can we bring it back?
If you're saying that there's no way at this point to change the mayor's compensation. The compensation that was decided upon by the Local Officers Compensation Commission went into effect 30 days after the notice was provided to City Council, and that was back in November. So the compensation has been adjusted as determined by the LOCC, and this body does not have the ability to reduce that salary at this point.
Wow.
So yes, that went into effect in December, and it's not. This body cannot direct that the compensation be changed. It's the same way that you could not direct that your own compensation can be changed, or either up or down at this point.
So are you saying this is a moot point to even vote this up or down? We just need to drop this completely because it's already took effect?
What to do about it is up to this body to decide. But what I'm saying is that this resolution will have absolutely no effect whatsoever.
All right, thank you.
All right, anyone else in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yeah, I will be voting to support this. I understand that the 30 days have passed, but, I would have voted, to support denial, if this ever got in front of us, so I'm not going to change that vote. I think that, in a city of 70% poverty, this is a dereliction of duty on our part, so, I would have voted to deny it if this got in front of us, so I I will continue to do that.
Amen. Appeal.
Anyone else in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
I am agreeing with my colleague, Councilman Pfeiffer. This should have been brought before us. This was a slick way to get this passed. We all see it. So the public understands the mayor's pay raise has been increased from 125 to 140.
Wow.
Not put on one shingle, one furnace, one window. But
Yep.
the mayor has gotten a pay raise. This was not brought before us to the council to even vote upon. It was not put in the resolution. It was time sensitive, within 30 days. And guess what? He got a raise. And what did the residents get? Zero.
There it is.
Zero. So I am in agreement with Councilman Pfeiffer. If it has been brought before us, I don't think this is the time that, when we look at what the residents come here week after week. They come to the meetings even when we can't to get help. And I remember when Mayor Neely stated when Mayor Weaver had gotten raised that he was going to give the raise back. He said he was not going to take that raise.
What?
The salary went from, I believe, $79,000 up to $126,000. And he said he was going to give that back.
I remember.
He said that.
Amen.
He didn't give it back.
Nah, take that.
2019. And now he is getting a $15,000 raise. So that is a campaign promise or key point that was not kept. If this was brought, and it should have been brought to you, Madam Clerk, to Mr. Clyde Edwards, or I'm sorry, to the legal department, to Mr. Kemp. Mr. Kemp, why wasn't this brought to this council in a resolution? No, to approve?
The council does not, let me just read the charter provision at stake that's applicable here. It says that this is section 1-502, paragraph B of the charter. It says the commission shall determine the total compensation of each local elected official. The determination shall be the total compensation unless the legislative body by resolution adopted by 2/3 of the members elected to and serving on the legislative body rejects it. The determination of the commission shall be effective 30 days following its filing with the city clerk unless rejected by the legislative body. So the default under the charter is that the local officer compensation commission determination goes into effect. They don't require council's approval. And if council does nothing, as has happened here, it goes into effect 30 days after it's filed with the city clerk.
So you're saying that it was council's responsibility to deny it within those 30 days?
I'm saying that the charter says that the determination of the commission shall be effective 30 days following its filing with the city clerk unless rejected by the legislative body.
Okay, but what I'm asking you in a layman's terms so that I'm clear to everyone else. So within that 30 days, the council should have said, hey, we are in agreement with this, we should have.
I believe that the resolution was submitted by Councilman Mays at the next meeting after the determination was from the local officers compensation commission was filed with the council. So I believe it was filed with the city clerk, and the city clerk provided copies of that to all.
So December the 18th, when quorum was broke, council members left. So this was on, thank you, Councilwoman Ricardo. So December the 18th was complete mayhem. And so that's when it was brought forward.
I think that
it's right
have
here.
to check with the.
It's right here. It's on the resolution. It says December 18th, which really leads me to believe. I mean, I just want the residents to see, if we had a responsibility. We did not keep quorum on the 18th. We did keep it on the 20th, and then we did not have a quorum on the 3rd. And so we're now past that 30-day window, way past it. And now it is already, his pay, the mayor's pay, has been adjusted to receive the pay. And he did state when he ran, he was going to give that money back. He felt Mayor Weaver was not entitled to it. He didn't get that back, so now he would have, what, 15,000, another 26, 46, and 15, so we're looking at, what, 60,000 that technically made him want to give back. Yeah.
All right, so let's see, anyone else like to speak on this resolution?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Mr. Carter.
Yeah, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues in the, 8th Ward and the 6th Ward. I'll be voting yes to deny the mayor's pay raise, although it has already happened. I will not vote to increase his pay. Because I don't see anything that the mayor has done. This city has gone to hell, man.
Wow.
Nothing is getting done. Nothing. So, I'll be voting yes. Although I just want the residents to know the pay raise has already happened.
Yeah.
So, I'll be still voting yes.
Madam Chair.
I can't even say I'm gonna vote to increase his pay. Thank you.
All right, anyone else go first?
Madam Chair, I'm going to abstain on this vote since it is a ridiculous vote to be taken. This was presented to us in time to vote on, and it was not passed. So I'm going to abstain from this vote. Thank you.
All right, anyone else in the first round? All right, so seeing that, I'll go ahead and be the last to speak. Yeah, we definitely have to look at the term abstention in the charter, because I was under the impression that you abstain when you have a direct conflict of interest. I see a lot of the times that we just abstain because we don't like something, we abstain because we don't feel like that we should vote. So I know in the future I definitely would like to explore that, just to make sure that we're utilizing that appropriately, so we can just stand on our vote, whether it's a yes or no. Right here, looking at this pay raise, it's a new point. That's why I was totally in favor of Ms. Priestley saying, let's go ahead and just heavily indefinitely, because it is a new point. There's no need to even talk about it, because it's done. That the compensation committee, they voted to give him a $15,000 raise, and so it was. We had the opportunity to vote it down. But just like my colleague said, the form was broken. The form, if you are getting up, the business is not getting done. So we have no one to blame besides the individuals that broke form. So with that being said, looks like you can make him $140,000, and I will not be supporting the denied pay raise just to make a point, because it doesn't make sense if he's still getting paid. All right, so anyone on the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
You are right. I cannot abstain because I don't have a financial interest in this, so I will be voting no.
Wow.
All right. Anyone else second one?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
Thank you. So, when it was first posted, just for record, and I think people have the right to speak on and vote the way they want. I mean, that I do. Sometimes people may abstain because they want to stay on the record what their reasons for voting no is, so that the record actually will reflect that. So when we look at the pay raise went for Mayor Weaver was $91,000, and then it went to $125,000. That was a 36% pay raise, and then now it is going up to $140,000. So we're going from 140, 91,000 to 140 in, was it, I think 4 years is when she, 2019, she got the raise. So, my mind ain't working real clear. So my math may not math right now, so I apologize. So it went from 91,000 to now 140,000. So we are 48,000 that in 4 years the mayor's salary has increased. That's a lot, especially in a city that, we have such high poverty and that there's such a great need. You know, listening to the school system, I mean, and what parents are going through. I mean, and we look at the schools, we look at the grocery store. That was sort of a great project that's gonna happen in my ward. And the first thing I said was, there's no grocery store. No, two great projects. Because I don't save a lot at the grocery store, but it's not a Whole Foods, it's not a Kroger, and it's not a Myers. You know, we have the new grocery store supposed to, but we don't have an opening date for that one yet. And that's still not in a close proximity. I look at how fire and what parents go through. One of the things was kids wearing hoodies. And kids don't wear winter coats anymore. Winter coats cost money. I mean,
Mrs. Burns, we're still on the denial of the mayor.
Yep, and I'm getting to why I think the pay raise is in that, and I'm gonna tie it in. Thank you. So we talk about money and salaries and who's getting a salary raise. I look at parents can't afford coats, but we giving the mayor a raise. And, you know, that's a $48,000 in 4 years. That's a lot. Our pension system is underfunded. That's a fact. That's a fact. We never got the 50 million. We won't get the 50 million. We won't get it. And you know how I found out? 2 lobbyists called me to tell me we wasn't getting it. That's how I found out. So when I look at how the people are not being taken care of, but the right people, I guess you have to be in this clique. So it's not a moot point to vote on it now, because the record, we have a right to let the record reflect what our vote was, and not for indefinite, because I'm very clear that I would have denied the mayor's pay raise. Mayor had said he didn't want a pay raise, but he's still taking it. He could have said, hey, I don't want it. I'm on my campaign promise, I'm gonna keep it. He could have, when he got elected, said, hey, I don't want the 125. My campaign promise, take it back down to 91,000. He didn't do that. So people say 48,000 is not even the average income that a resident in Flint gets. What is it, 29,000? 29,000? I don't even know what the average income of a household in the family in Flint. But what I know that the average income of a household in Flint is less than the mayor's pay raise. I know that. I know that if we multiply, we do some basic math, we go, what is it? He's getting, what, 140, and the average is 3, 9, 12. So he was over 4 times higher his pay than the average household per Flint. And if my math ain't math, y'all charge it to my mind, I'm tired. But I look at the residents, and I see the residents, you see the parents, you see the grandparents raising these kids now. And food is high. Used to be gas. Food is so high, you can't even afford food. People, I saw somebody running out of Save a Lot with some meat. What? I mean, it's serious. So I want the record to reflect that I would not be supporting the pay raise for the mayor. And so my point is, my vote is not moot, is to show what my intentions would be if he wasn't receiving it.
All right, anyone else in the second round? Anyone else in the second round? All right, seeing that there's no one else, I'll go ahead and use my time. Once again, in terms of saying, regardless of how we feel, what we say, our rules, our charter state that we can only do that when we have a personal interest. So it's not about how you feel, it's about your interest in the vote. So let's just follow the rules in the charter. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and vote to approve resolution 230471. Roll call, Madam Clerk. No.
Ms. Murphy? Ms. Priestley? No. Ms. Murphy-Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
No.
Mr. Piper?
Yes.
for that?
Yes.
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no?
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no. Resolution 230471 fails. So now, we will, move on to resolution 230472. What's the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair, I'd like to vote to approve resolution 230472.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve resolution 230472. Any support? Any support?
Support.
All right, supported by Ms. Murphy. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
This, resolution, I separated, through you to the city attorney. I know, this resolution is for the converted, properties that get dropped before us, and we needed to, vote for this in December. So, because we didn't vote for this, it did automatically go to, the Genesee County Land Bank, and this resolution, is it another resolution that's a mute point for us to vote on it because we missed the deadline?
Yes, I believe this would also be good because the county treasurer has to execute any transfers by the end of the year. It's obviously not 2024. Technically, the council would have needed to pass a resolution to accept properties, not to object to the transfer, because the default here is without council accepting property, the city can't accept property. It's a general rule based on our own ordinance and charter.
So, thank you very much for that. This is very concerning to me. I know we talked about pulling some of these properties. I have been working with Leon Elamine with May Institute. We had identified some properties over there in a particular area that he kind of working in with the guys that come home from prison. He's been doing a great job rehabbing those properties. He identified, and I worked with him because I know we wanted to try to bring back some properties in-house, but what I didn't want to do was bring back some properties in-house, and then we don't have nobody to facilitate rehabbing them and he got I think only 5, because we just wanted to do what we call a pilot project, and he had identified 5 or 6 properties surrounding the area that he already worked in. And if you guys think Leon Elamine work, May Institute, they have been doing great work. And I wanted to pull them to be able to work with him to give him these properties. I tried to get this in November, so this is something we've been working on for 2 or 3 months because I knew the deadline was coming. But here we are today, so there's nothing I can do now because it's already, we didn't get to vote on it, and so now he gonna have to go through the land bank. What I want, as a board member that sits on the Genesee County board, I just wanna make sure that they process and, giving people properties is, fair and transparent, because what I've been hearing is people been having issues with getting properties from the land bank, trying to purchase properties. And here go a young man that's out there doing great work on the north side of Flint, not just because it's on the north side, but he's been doing great work. He's still got a long way to go, and I wanted to give him this opportunity to help him with his pilot project. Now we can't do it, and I'm disappointed that this is where we at. So I know you say we shouldn't be abstaining, but for us to vote this up or down, what good is it gonna do? It's just ceremonial. my last point. That was, because the land bank owns so many properties in the city of Flint, and my ward is one of the biggest wards, and if y'all go on the east side, it is deplorable when it comes down to how it looks. And the land bank owns a lot of those properties, and I'm really not interested in giving no one properties if y'all don't have a game plan to maintain them and try to clean them up. It is ridiculous. I mean, you go up and down the street, and all the whole, every street over there on the east side is towed up to the floor up, and then y'all own them.
Ms. Worthy.
And there's nothing we can do about it. I'm not in agreement with that. I don't care who owns them, if the city of Flint owns them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Anyone else want to speak in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Parker?
Mr. Murphy, I think you know where I stand on this. I mean, I would have took property back to help that, organization move forward and to help, especially, returning citizens. I think that would have been a great thing. I think that this resolution itself, through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Murphy, did you bring this one? Because this one says that we don't want it.
Say that one more time.
This resolution says that we don't want any properties.
I don't have nothing to do with it.
Okay. So that's what this resolution says.
I know it's the thing that we do on an annual basis in December, but instead of us doing it in December.
Oh, I thought that you said that you brought something forward for us to pull properties.
I was working behind closed doors to try to bring something to try to help, with these properties.
Okay. But I thought that you said that you were trying to get properties, and then I'm reading this.
I was trying to pull properties to be able to help Mary Institute. But for some reason or another, it just, the usual.
Madam Clerk, when did we get this, and because, looking at the resolution number, this comes, there's no actual date on the resolution.
So through the chair to the clerk?
Yes.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Excuse me. If I'm not mistaken, this resolution was, I believe, brought from the floor on the 11th of December. December 11th.
Who brought it to the floor?
I brought it to the council because it's, as Mr. Murphy mentioned, it's the annual resolution that you would do every year. So based on the memo that I got from the county.
But if we don't act on it, is it really required? Because we didn't act on it, so is it really required? It would seem to me like our only act that would be lawful is if we wanted to pull properties, to Mr. Murphy's point. If we don't act on it, I guess my question is, I understand Mr. Murphy's point, and I've tried to pull property previously, so if we don't act on this, what's the point of this? You follow what I'm saying?
Right. It's like the second page of the resolution. It's based on the letter from the county that says if you wish to object, then you need to do a resolution stating that you object to the property, so otherwise they'll be reverted back to the city. So we
didn't object to the administration then?
That I don't know.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the city attorney, so that if the city didn't object, we would get those properties, right? If I'm hearing that correctly?
No, the statute basically doesn't require that a resolution of objection be passed. It requires that the municipality object. And the city's property ordinances and the charter state that basically the city cannot acquire property except as set forth in the ordinance or by the action of council. So,
but that's not what this letter says. The letter says that we do nothing when we get the property.
Well, I think the difference is that basically City of Flint is I believe the only city in Genesee County that has that doesn't have a council manager form of government.
So is the Genesee County Treasurer, is she, uninformed?
I do not know what the Genesee County Treasurer is informed of.
Because it says unless a written objection, and I know the first year we were on council, the administration walked a letter over to the treasurer saying we didn't want that.
Oh, yeah, that
And
part.
I'm saying that that's not needed.
No, I believe that's what happened again this year.
Oh, that's what my question.
Yeah.
Did the city, did the administration do a written objection? That was my question.
I believe that that did occur. That probably be better directed at, city administrator.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you request that from the administration, copy that letter?
Stop the clock.
Because if they didn't, we may have these properties if we can work with Mr. Murphy.
Wait.
All right. Anyone else in the third prayer?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
Yes, I am in agreement with, Mr. Pfeiffer and Mr.
Yeah, man.
If we could, could have pulled, some of these, these properties, especially with what just happened. With those 190 properties, but there were 233, I believe, was the total. We could have did something for the Flint residents, and now we're scrambling. We gave 50,000 to the Eastern League, or what are the legal people. Then they wanted, today was another one for 150. It would have been nice to work with residents, because we've had some people come and said that they had actually been able to save the money to bring their homes up. But I want to say this with this voting, because I like things to be corrected if I choose to abstain. We need to make sure we're correcting, we're stating things correctly. Rule 9.9, abstaining from voting on a question of direct personal interest. It says no member should vote on a question in which he or she has a direct personal or pecuniary interest, not common to the other members of the organization. Voting on questions which affect oneself. The rule on abstaining from voting on a question of direct personal interest does not mean that a member should not vote for him or herself for an office or other position to which members generally are eligible or should not vote on when other members are included with him in the motion. It doesn't say you can't not abstain. It doesn't quote that. Not at all. That's just a lie.
Request for information.
Denied.
Did you know, according to the charter, it says, section 3-204, B, whenever city council should hold a vote, all members should be required to vote either yea or no. All members shall vote on every matter before the city council, unless the member has a conflict of interest precluding their vote.
Taking the floor,
As set forth in Article 1,
warn yourself.
of the charter
It doesn't
provided
say
by
you
law.
can't vote.
Did you know that?
Did you know you just stole the floor? You need to warn yourself. You're violating your own rules, charter scholar. Now, it states that you don't have to vote. So she up here trying to tell people what they can, and I am proceeding, Ms. Lewis, on my time, that you warn yourself. So you're not gonna bully me into voting yes, no, abstain. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Just like you're going to do what you wanna do. Simple as that. We have a choice. 2nd ward elected you. 6th ward elected me. You should not be telling other people. Our council rules state you can abstain. So you need to be clear, or maybe I'm done with it. I'm gonna get back to these houses because I can care less about what you talk, because you know what you're talking about. Just like you said, it's a rule that you can't answer your phone and talk on your phone. That was a lie. So, Councilman Pfeiffer and Councilman Murphy, if you're checking on to see if that letter was done with those properties, I guess we should have, I'm gonna be supporting whatever that comes out of that. You know, we find out what has happened. But I know before, it was nothing that we could do. Because I remember there were 637 properties. So it has been greatly decreased from 637. That was our first, 21. And so now it was went down to 190. So whatever we can, do, I guess I don't know if we can do anything. It's really what it's, is what I'm thinking what Attorney Kim is saying, Because once those properties, and we're looking at what we've done before, once those properties were transferred, it was a done deal pretty much. Am I correct, Attorney Kim? We didn't get any of it back.
There's a statute that basically is very specific about what.
And I'm sorry, I'm not real tall, it's hard to see you over.
Sorry, there's a statute that's very specific about what has to be done related to foreclosed property, and these are all properties that were foreclosed on back in March for the ones that are subject here. They would have been foreclosed on finally and completely as of the end of March earlier this year. And the ultimate disposition of those basically had to occur by the end of December, and so it's now.
What was the deadline, December
Well, the county treasurer has a deadline, the county treasurer has one.
Okay, and so we missed we missed a lot of things by not completing our meetings for December 18th and December 20th when we didn't have quorum. And so that would have prevented, or we would have had some say so, but we did not have, our meetings didn't move forward. So that is, you know, we didn't have the meetings, we didn't have the council members here. So the deadline passed because we as a council weren't here. So we just, what to say, suck it up, buttercup? I guess we got to suck that one up. Because we weren't here. I was here to do the work. Yeah, and so, and that was to finish out, December 18th was supposed to finish out our last business of the year, and we failed to do that as a council because lack of quorum.
All right, anyone else in first round? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and take my time. So just want to make sure that we have good information going forward. According to the charters, section 3204, as I was stating on the record, whenever city council shall hold a vote, all members shall be required to vote either A or no. All members shall vote on every matter before the city unless the member has a conflict of interest precluding their vote as set forth by the charter or provided by law. Doing what's right is not an option. It's not if I want to. What I just read was charter. No lie detected. It's right here. And so we will, what did you report?
Did you report that $1,500 check and still go by Ashley Capital?
Ms. Burns?
Oh, yeah.
That's an improper request and you're out of order. So as I proceed to be interrupted, just like I was just called a liar, the fact of the matter is, they said what we said. So hopefully my colleagues will get in the notion of voting yes or no, up or down, unless you have a personal interest. Because by law, by our city charter, we cannot continue to abstain. Stand on your vote. Either you're voting yes or no. And so, looking at the objection of the transfer of property, time is up. According to the treasurer's notice that was sent to all of us, we had to put together a resolution by December 15th rejecting this property. It did not happen. It was a few years ago, Councilman Pfeiffer and Eric May said that they were going to work on something, so we won't have to do this. Because we don't want to give the homes over. We would like to see something else happen. But it didn't happen, so here we are. So I'm looking forward to working with some colleagues with the land bank so we can pilot some great projects through NACA. So we can repurpose some parcels and we can refurbish a lot of dilapidated homes and get these homes back on the payroll for real. All right, so with that being said, I'd like to call the question so we can move on. Yeah, I'll call the question. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to the second round. Go ahead, Mr. Murphy.
Yes, thank you. I will be abstaining from this vote. I understand what you're saying. And the reason why I'm abstaining from this vote, and you and whoever else can go and do whatever y'all want to, I don't like how the land bank and the treasurer did this 230-something properties. I don't like it. I was told that the reason why it was in the vault was because of a Supreme Court ruling. I was even given an email telling me about the policy, and they must have thought I wasn't going to read it, and when I read it, I couldn't find it, so I went back to them, and I said, show me the paragraph that you talked about where this Supreme Court ruling said that they were supposed to sell these properties in bulk. It was not there. You can ask A.C. Dumas, he came to the Land Bank Board meeting, and when he brought it up, and I came behind it, is when we found out that it wasn't true. So y'all misled us and told us that it was Supreme Court ruling that made the ruling to sell these properties in bulk. That was not true. Then y'all went and picked out all the good houses and sold the good houses, and all of the houses that we getting through the reverted properties is jacked up to the floor, getting ready to need to be torn down. So you giving the land bank that's still gonna be the city problem a whole bunch of jacked up houses because y'all done already went through them and got all the good houses and y'all did whatever y'all did behind closed doors. I'm not in agreement with that, and I'm not voting for this. I'm abstaining, and I don't care who don't like it.
Let's take that.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Murphy, for saying you're going to violate the charter on record. Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Piper.
I'll yield to my colleague.
Madam Chair, thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Carter.
I agree 100% with Councilman Murphy. I will be voting to abstain as well. I can abstain, I can vote yes, or I can vote no. And it's not a violation of the charter. And you're out of order.
You're out of order, Madam Chair.
Out of order. Always out of order. I echo the sentiments of my colleague, Councilman Murphy. I will not be voting on this. I'm upset. And I feel you, Councilman Murphy. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Lawlessness. Anyone else would like to, Mr. Piper?
So, to Mr. Murphy's point, I said it before, they sell them in bulk so that they don't have to reimburse anybody beyond the value of their home. So, if your home is worth $100,000 and it gets vacant for $2,000 in back taxes, that's almost, $100,000 they keep. If you sold them individually, they would have to pay that homeowner the difference from what the value of their home was sold for to their back taxes. So a lot of people in that 190 to that backdoor deal that you're talking about, a lot of people lost a lot of value. And to your point, this list that we have, even though there probably would have been some good homes that are salvageable, that the Mega Institute could have put back out to there. Now they're going to, because the land bank doesn't have any money to fix them up, they're now going to sit vacant and get more dilapidated for 5+ years. That's the reality of it. And because they don't have funding for any more demolitions, they don't have any funding for anything else, so everything that we continue to pile onto the land bank is just not going to sit vacant, idle, and dilapidated for the next 5+ years. So, and that's the truth of it. We could have, this list right here that we failed to act on is 200+. So I know they sold 190 in the city of Flint. Just did a quick count. This is 200+ that are going to go to the land bank and sit vacant and be part of the city's life for the next 5 years. So with that being said, I will be abstaining because it's my right to abstain.
All right, well, keep in mind, since colleagues are purposely violating, the charter,
Madam Chair, this is not time for debate.
Ms.
Point
Burns,
of
Ms.
order.
Burns, Ms. Burns, you don't have the floor.
Point of order.
What is your point?
My point is, you don't have the floor. You're legally taking the floor.
My point is, I'm the chair.
You're supposed to ask, you don't get to do that, Madam Chair. You're supposed, but she's supposed to ask next.
I pulled the chair this meeting.
So
with that being said,
lawlessness.
So with that, Ms. Burns,
Yes, Madam Chair.
let's not get a warning. We are about to.
Give me a warning.
So, moving on, we are, anyone else would like to speak?
Madam Chair.
Then go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Okay, so I am going to abstain. And it is not being lawless. It's not. You have a right. Now, Section D of the Charter on page 27 tells you an abstention shall be considered a vote, provided the council member states a reason thereof. She didn't mention that part. She didn't mention that part. But read down a little part, page 27. It states that, so you have a right. So you have to be careful when you listen to some people. I respect the fact that if Councilman Murphy is choosing, I wasn't at that meeting. I believe that he's given me the correct information. And when he stated he did not see the bulk buy, but let me tell you, when we talk about these properties, they taking these properties and want to double or triple these SCVs to sell some of them. So we have to be careful. I mean, it's profit. If they were sold in the vote, 190 were Flint, the other 43 were outside of Flint. We have to look at how that process and how this was skipped over. Now, I listened to the dialogue of the president of Flint City Council, who is called, when my colleague said lawlessness, she called them lawlessness. And she said they're breaking the charter, you can't abstain. Just incorrect information, the same as you can't take a phone call. That rule didn't exist. But Rule D does state, page 27, an abstention shall be considered a vote, providing the council member states a reason thereof. But where I'm hearing her lining some of these views up, they're the same as Mayor Neely's. Identical. She stands next to him, she follows him around, she pushes his agenda, and you wonder why the council isn't coming together. The president of the council just called one of her colleagues lawless, that the other were breaking the charter, but she wants to have cohesiveness. This isn't cohesiveness. You cannot keep throwing a rock and then hiding your hand. It is passive-aggressive behavior. Passive-aggressive behavior and bullying. It's bullying. You don't do what I tell you to do, then it's going to be a problem. This is lawless. You're lawless. Okay, well then I'm going to be lawless too, but not in her definition, because the charter states clearly, Section D, page 27, that you have a right to abstain. It just simply do. Now, I'm not going to say with these properties, there's a whole process, and there should be a committee. If she was looking for a solution, Madam Chair should say, hey, you know what? We need to have an ad hoc committee, not like the one she was on when she did that ARPA fund that did not deliver a desired result for the resident, but create an ad hoc committee to say, hey, how can we work so that this doesn't happen again? So if we have two people, maybe Councilman Pfeiffer and Councilman Murphy can work together, since there's a vested interest in this. That's a solution. She wants to talk about the 50 million. Where does Michigan have 50 million laying around? Now, an easy solution, that a reachable and obtainable goal, two council people to work on this with the homes. Year after year, we have this issue. I think it would be good to have Councilman Murphy with Councilman Pfeiffer to work together on this, so that it's going to come back up. We're in 2024 to work on this. That's a solution. Not calling your colleagues lawless and then saying, we need a parliamentarian. We need someone in here. No, we almost need a priest in here. So I'm not in agreement with, I'm agreeing with my colleagues, but a solution was, we do need an ad hoc committee. And I think to work on a viable solution Because what's happening is not working, not to blame, and it was unfair to blame Councilman Mays in his absence, and Councilman Pfeiffer, the digs she's doing, and I'm catching them, you know, that's Councilman Murphy, I'm catching them over there, used to be his thing. I'm hearing them, but let's work together, because a lot of these are on the north side. A lot are on the north side, they just are. And so we need to work, an ad hoc committee, Madam Chair, I think would be good to put together so that we can work through this. Instead of saying, oh, you're lawless, you are reiterating everything Mayor Neely states. But you reiterate that that pension fund is not funded properly. I'm not gonna let you tell that lie out here. I'm not gonna allow you to do that one, because it's a fact. It's a fact. You can check with the CFO. So I will be voting to abstain also.
Madam Chair.
All right, Ms. Worthing.
I call a question.
All right, call the question. Any support?
Support.
All right, then support by Councilman Shedd. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Shedd?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
I abstain because they're gonna pass it anyways, because 5 does not equal 2/3.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
It was 5 yes.
2 no, 1 abstention.
5 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention, that passes. So now we're on to resolution 230449, pleasure to find. Go ahead.
No, we have to still vote.
Excuse me.
It is lawless.
So, sorry about that, so that was the call to question. So now it's time to, vote for resolution 230472. Roll call, and that is an objection to the transfer of the tax converted property. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Abstaining. For reasons previously stated, for whatever they were.
Mr. Carter?
I abstain for reasons stated before.
Ms. Burns? I abstain, for reasons that I stated in my 5 minutes a little quick. Ms. Shedd?
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
I abstain with no reason stated.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
No.
Mr. Murphy?
I abstain because I don't agree with, how those 230 or 190 houses were sold.
About time.
1 yes,
Took my house like
2
that.
no, 5 abstention.
1 yes, 2 no, 5 abstentions. So, that doesn't go anywhere. No, moving on to resolution 230449.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Worthing.
I move for approval.
All right, so we move to approve resolution 230449. Any support?
Support.
Supported by her council,
Madam
Woman
Chair.
Priestley. And so go ahead, Ms. Worthing.
Given that we had already discussed this, but yet to vote on it, I call the question.
All right, we're gonna call the question, Ms. Worthing. Any support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Murphy. Roll call, Madam Clerk. We're calling the question.
Ms. Worthing?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Shedd?
Yes.
Ms. Pfeiffer?
No.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Vote 5 yes, 3 no.
Well, 5 yes, 3 no. Resolution 230449 passes. Now we're on
Madam
to
Chair.
now.
That was all the question.
We already called the question.
No, that was on the question.
I'm sorry.
Matter with Attorney Burns?
Again, it's his thing.
Oh,
Alright,
okay.
so we're going to call the question. So now we're moving on for the approval of resolution
They got right there. You
230449.
got, okay, thanks.
All right, so roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Gardner.
No.
Ms. Shand.
Yes.
Mr. Piper.
No.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley. Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter.
No.
Those 5 yes, 3 no.
For the 5 yes, 3 no, resolution 230449 passes. Now we're on to resolution 230466.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Piper.
I make a motion to move that back to government office.
All right, the motion to move resolution 230466 back in government ops. Any support? Support. Supported by Councilwoman Byrne.
Madam Chair.
Any, Mr.
Yeah, I think if we want to change the rules, we should have discussion, and they should be in committee, and not, on council floor, where they call the question, and not be able to debate the rules that, we have in front of us. So I would like to actually discuss these in committee. Obviously, you guys have the votes to pass them and do whatever the hell you want, but not allowing, this discussion in committee is, very troubling. So I will yield to my colleagues.
All right. Anyone else like to speak?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. So, when the ad hoc committee, which was Julie and, Dr. Lewis, I believe, worked on these rules, what, did they give you guys a draft of the rules so that y'all, or, reach out to you guys to, get you guys input? I know me and Julie, we was having some back and forth discussions about the rules when I was looking at them, and I was like, oh, I don't like this, change this and all of that. So, my question to my colleagues was, did you guys get the same opportunity to have dialogue with any of the colleagues on the ad hoc committee? Did, they send you guys a copy of the rules so that y'all can look at it and review them and give input? That's my question to
Request for information.
yes.
Request for information. Are you aware that the first time majority or some on this council has seen it when it's on the agenda?
Hello, Murphy?
My question is, or my, is to Judy or to Dr. Lewis. Did you guys reach out to the colleagues to, have input from them on the rules?
We only reached out to the committee chairs.
So, why wouldn't you reach out to all of the colleagues to get input on them and try to change rules without input from them? Is it something, somewhere in the rules that states only the chairs should only have input? If that's the case, that's not fair for my colleagues, for you guys to create rules and not reach out to.
The last petition was not provided to any managers, it was just the two, it was just, Mr. Murder and myself.
But you guys did give us a copy of those rules and we looked at it and I looked at those rules, so we didn't just vote on the rules. So y'all did give us the rules in advance, so now, is this somewhere in the rules that the rules is only can be changed by the committee chair? I'll be voting to send this back to government now. I'm done.
All right, anyone else?
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Ms. Worthing.
How long have the revised rules, like, a copy was sent, or in our agenda, correct?
Correct.
For how long?
We'll go ahead and defer that to Madam Clerk, who sets the agenda. Madam Clerk?
this was first presented to council on December 18th. And the rules were included in our agenda, the changes. Yes, the resolution that's on your agenda now was presented on the 18th. Okay, so for about a month, we've had that available to us to look over and ask questions. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Burns?
Thank you. So if the rules were given on December 18th, they left. So how we gonna discuss them when we didn't have a quorum? They didn't show up, they weren't here. I mean, come on. I mean, Councilman Murphy, thank you for being fair and stating, and for Councilman Priestley being honest. We didn't have a meeting. December 18th, they left. December 20th, they left. January 3rd, forum didn't show up. So when were we supposed to go over the rules? We couldn't. I mean, it's just, we couldn't. And these rules are, talking about lawlessness, they give total and absolute power. And if they're talking amongst themselves about the rules, that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act if they talk to the chair. Because how many chairs you got? President, vice president, you got a finance chair. Oh, that's 3, that's more than 2 people. Then you have what, governmental ops, legislative. So if the chairs were only talking and they didn't put all 9 members in, that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. That's lawlessness. That's clear lawlessness. We didn't get them. So December 18th was the first time. We all know what happened to that meeting. It wasn't complete. It was so bad, we had to have a special meeting posted for December 20th. It was so bad that everything from that agenda from 2023 rolled over to January 3rd. Now we have January 8th. So there was not time for us to discuss in the open and the public, which is required by the Open Meetings Act. It is required by the Open Meetings Act that we discuss it in public. They did a round robin themselves. Amen. Not supposed to be doing that. They breaking the law, but she want to say lawlessness. The person always saying lawlessness, and oh, you can't vote, it's the lawless person.
Dr. Lewis.
They did not contact everybody. These rules are so ridiculous. They don't even allow us going through them. They don't even allow the clerk to put anything on the agenda if she has something. How crazy is that? It limits debate. It limits the amount of time that residents can talk. It gives them total and absolute power. Just like it is a dictatorship. We're in a third world country. We have no right. You limit my voice to speak for my voice. That ain't your right to do that. Yeah. It's not your right. So what they want to do is treat this like it's a, this tyrant, dictatorship. You do as we say, cutting off all power. This should be done in a working session. And if it wasn't since Allie, we should have a new ad hoc committee for the rules. That's what she talks about, solutions. Madam Chair, we need a solution, a new ad hoc committee for the rules. Hey. And a working session.
All right. Anyone else would like to have a discussion? Ms. Priestley?
Yes, this was not a violation of the Open Meetings Act. Don't listen to her.
What?
We did not meet with everybody.
You never more than how many people?
Ms. Burns, you're out of order.
Request for information.
Ms. Burns, that's your warning.
I'll kill the ruling of chair. Hey. We can be here all night.
No, we won't. We need support.
I'll support.
Okay. It has been approved and properly supported. That Ms. Burns receive her first warning for yelling at the chair. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with debate.
Let me tell you something, Liddell. You're rude, you're lawless, you are very disrespectful. And Judy is too. I watch how y'all tit for tat and stick up for each other. We have not had anyone on these rules since Apple. If you are speaking more than 2 people, which are decisions you're making to affect this council, Open Meetings Act. Check the Michigan Municipal League. A matter of fact, put it in your search where I asked for Attorney Kim Judy when there's conversations. He gave a decision on it. He gave a decision on it. So you read it. Because I'm going to check you from here. I used to feel sorry for you. You say, well, oh no, they do this to me outside of here. I don't feel sorry for you anymore, because you voluntarily become a victim and to be victimized.
Right.
Don't come over here to check me for this, because if you have more than two, you got what? President, vice president. You didn't contact all of the people to change the rules. This is council business. The rules is council business. Oh, part of that you don't understand. It governs how we function, how we handle our meetings. It's council business. Council rules, hint, word, council business. So if you're meeting and the rest of us didn't get the information, you are violating. But you don't mind violating because you skip yourself back to Attorney Kim office and talk all day long. I used to see you back there all the time. You sure did. You, Alan, y'all don't mind breaking rules. Don't mind it at all. So when we talk about being fair, why would you give the rules to only certain people and not give them to the entire council? A specific question was asked by Councilman Murphy. Did you give them to everyone? That answer was no. It was no. It was no. So the hypocrisy to think that you're going to make rules and not have us involved in the process. Your 4th ward seat is no more important than my 6th ward seat and in all council seats 1 through 9. They're no better. You're not more important than any other council member in here, nor should you carry any more weight than that. We should all be a part of the process, the democratic process, that all of our voices are heard, not just yours. You didn't want to hear it. How do we have an agenda where you're limiting public speaking, where you cannot, on an appeal, only one person and the person chairing can speak on it? Or when we have if the clerk has an emergency or something, she can't put anything on the agenda. Get out of here with that. Y'all run this like a dictatorship, and if you follow along with it, I'm surprised, because most Republicans don't like red tape, more government, more censure, governing, too much government, and you're going along with this craziness. We have not received them rules. And then you set up and said, we only gave them to some of them. It should have went to all of us, wards 1 through 9, because it affects us all. It's council business, council rules.
All right.
I heard you first. No? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Piper.
If you recall, Mr. Murphy, since you're maybe on the fence on this, when we did the rules last time, we all got a copy of the rules and we submitted them to the clerk, any changes that we wanted to be made.
Mr. Piper, so just let you know, we're talking, this is Pioneer Morning.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
So, when we want to talk about and why people are so mad and hostile and maybe call it a dictatorship, it's stuff like this, where we don't get an opportunity to voice our opinion, to have any input. The rules are supposed to be abided and voted and have input from everybody. I don't care. You're saying that somebody their opinion doesn't matter. And Mr. Murphy, I don't think I've ever said that your opinion don't matter. No matter if you were in a chair position or not. It's the same as in Ms. Priestley was 100% wrong. If 5 people collaborated on a council decision, that's a violation of the opinion. And you mean to tell me in the less than 30 days that we've elected a new council person, or a new president and vice president and chairs, that these were sent out and adopted by the 5? Wow. That they agreed on the 5? That these are it? You absolutely violated the Open Meetings Act by deliberating on these outside of the meeting. If you sent them to 5 council members and you got input, that is a deliberate deliberation outside of council. So don't listen to the fourth ward council person because it's a violation of the Open Meeting Act. We can sit here and try to lie to you, oh, don't listen to them, it's not a violation. Absolutely it is. Because you deliberated with 4 other council people on these rules.
Well, yeah.
Outside of the public meeting.
Since I'm not a school teacher.
And I hope that we actually send these back and we're able to get comments, concerns, and ideas from all members of this body, and not a select few.
All right. Anyone else would like to speak? On this appeal?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a clear violation of the Open Meetings Act. And for Councilwoman Priestley to tell the residents, this community, not to listen to her colleague on something that is true, it's a violation. And so what? The rest of us, we don't matter? I was elected by the 5th Ward residents to sit here. 8 of us sitting up here, we were elected to sit here, to make decisions, to represent our wards. And you guys bring rules here already. This is a resolution to set a public hearing for the rules that they've already come up with. We didn't discuss these rules as a body. But for Ms. Priestley to sit here and get an attitude, sitting over here huffing and puffing, please. I can't believe it. But this, I want the community to understand, this has been going on. This has been going on. They have had meetings. Whether you're emailing each other, talking on the telephone, you're violating the Open Meetings Act. We're supposed to meet as a body to discuss the rules. That's why we go over these rules every year, to discuss the rules as a body. I'll be voting against the chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, anyone else would like to speak on the appeal, which is the warning of Tanya Burns? Yes. All right, so I'll be the last one to speak because no one has spoke on the subject at hand. Ms. Burns received her first warning for yelling at the chair. And with that being said, a yes will overturn the ruling, a no will uphold it. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Mashat?
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worley?
No.
Ms. Lewis?
No.
Mr. Murphy?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 5 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 5 no. Ms. Burns has received her first warning. All right, so now we are moving on to back to where we were. Resolution 230466. I heard Ms. Priestley. Yes, go ahead.
Fact of the matter is that no one deliberated on these. These rules were presented to the body there are going to be opportunities for amendments to these rules. Input was given. These rules have been worked on since the last rules went into effect. Changes made, things that worked, things that didn't work. We also reviewed the proposed set of rules from the Michigan Municipal League, which suggested that only the maker of the motion of the appeal and the chair speak on an appeal. That's where that came from. And we like that, because it cuts down the time. However, I really resent the fact that it is implied that we violated the open meeting.
Request for
We did
information.
not.
What is your request?
Who is the we like them? Who's the
Yeah.
we?
Dr. Lewis and I. So, there was no deliberation outside. It was, here are the rules, what are your suggestions? Before we bring them to the body. As chairs. No one met outside of myself and Liddell. We didn't meet with anybody else. Or at least I didn't. But the fact of the matter is that we did not violate the Open Meetings Act. This body still has the opportunity to vote on this, and changes can be made.
Request for information.
What is your request?
To you, to Ms. Priestley, or did you misspeak when you said you gave the rules to all of the chairs?
I did not.
So did you give the rules to all of the chairs? We have more than 2 chairs.
There are emails.
That's still communication.
It doesn't mean that it was not shared between people. The email did not go to each individual person, it went separate. So just as I've done to other people and other things that we worked on have been done individually.
What is your request for information?
Are you aware that this is not just to set the date, but this is to implement the rules of the meeting?
So I'm losing my voice. I'm about ready to cough, I'm going back room to cough. So I'm going to be at that time.
All right, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, so, did I hear you, Ms. Worthing?
Which round are we on?
We are in the first round.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Michelle.
Motion.
Sorry about that. Michelle.
So, no open meetings rule act was violated. I didn't meet with anyone. He presented to me and said, are there any changes you'd like to make? There was no sit down, get together, all this other stuff, all the things that are being implied. I think this goes back to another reason why we need a parliamentarian, because, or something, or just to learn to not jump so quickly to pointing the finger or trying to publicly malign someone's name and reputation to prove a point. Get a whole story. I know that doesn't matter, but it probably works best if you get a whole story. Maybe we can actually all work together in a respectful space and manner if you got a whole story, but I suspect that that is not the goal. And I don't understand why that is not the goal. It's really not that simple to come up here and represent your wards. Not that simple to read some rules that you had in front of you since the 18th and could have sent out emails of, where did this come from? Why does this exist? Why are we doing this? I don't like this rule. You had almost a month to say, this isn't going to work for me. And it didn't happen. The problem is, you get the stuff set in front of you, and you want to wait till meetings to try and at least read it. It's like you could have read it before we got here. You could have suggestions in your speech. We can get you 5 minutes to talk. This could be handled. Everything about the deer in China. Stuff that does not matter about what is going on right now. Utilize your time to talk about 230-466. To not speak to motives, to not try to publicly malign someone. And it's crazy because I sit up here, I don't say anything back to all a bulk of what is said. And yet here it is, it's just darts. I'm trying to teach y'all how to govern and rise to the occasion.
What is your request? Are you aware it's not darts because round robins?
I was not in a round robin, is what you don't understand. I was not in a round robin. Judy can explain to you no one was in a round robin. But that the truth doesn't serve you as much as it is of trying to paint someone in a negative light. I promise y'all we can work together if we actually worked and stop trying to do all the other stuff. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the first round? Oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and utilize my time.
Point of order.
Oh, is that Ms.?
There's only one.
Only one round? Oh, okay, got it. So we're sending it back to government. All right, so the chair will go ahead and utilize her time. Our colleagues set a special meeting to call the election. Some of that time also could have been used to take a gander at these rules in the back. Almost a month. We've had them here. I know we were accused of doing this in the middle of the night, not so. We set forth these rules. These rules been on our agenda, and everyone had the opportunity to take a look at these. Even over break, we could have took a look at it. We haven't had meetings for like, what, three weeks almost? They're going from the 20th to the 3rd, 2-3 weeks. And so we could have been and got this done. Right now, it's time for us to either get it done or not. And we always talk about the business, get the business done. Yes, we talk about everything besides the business. Everything, yep, sure enough, do. And unfortunately, colleagues were stalling. And we had a whole morning and everyone just spoke about this again. We need to stay focused. We need to do the work. And the work was to look through these rules. Every single person on this body had the opportunity to look at what they liked, did not like, to make suggestions. They did not. They wanted to kick it back. Not an option. It's not an option for me. Either we're going to vote them up or vote them down, but I'm just ready just to get it done because, again, we need order. We wouldn't have these rules. We wouldn't have to amend these rules if we didn't have such chaos here. We had colleagues that blatantly said flat out, I'm going to abstain, although it goes against the charter. That's fine to them. We don't value rules here, so I guess I'll put them off too if I'm not going to have put respect on them. We say audience members can't yell out. You can only speak at the lectern. But when they yell out, we make an excuse. Let them speak. If we're not going to obey these rules, why have them? And then, every time some colleagues get the floor, they go off in a tangent that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We can do the same, but that's not professional. That's not what we're here for. So, having the person, the maker of an appeal and the chair, that makes nothing but sense. So we're going to have all of this irrelevant dialogue in the middle. These rules are set forth for this body at this point in time so we can get the business done. And we will be remiss to not to vote for this. I stand behind these rules and thank everyone that contributed. All right, so now we are moving on to the vote. So the vote is to send this hearing to government ops. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pike?
Yes.
Mr. Orley?
No.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Garland?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shand?
No.
5 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 3 no. That resolution will be going back to government office. So now we are looking at resolution 230476.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to, approve the public hearing 230476, but if I may ask the clerk when that public hearing may be, and amend that resolution to do that hearing.
Okay, so are we going to amend the resolution, amend the date?
Yes, I thought I could, maybe we should just go ahead and do it in two stages. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to set the public hearing 230476.
Support.
Okay.
Madam,
What is your point?
I think we're doing it backwards, I think we need to amend it.
that's what, I'm gonna amend it now. I'm gonna amend it now. Madam Chair, through you to the city clerk, when is the date that we should set this hearing for?
Just to be on the safe side, first meeting in February, first council meeting in February 12th.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'd like to amend this resolution to have hold the hearing on February 12th, 2024.
February 12th, 2024.
Yes. That's the amendment.
Okay, so there is an amended, motion to make 230476.1, and we are looking to amend it to say the hearing for February 12th, 2024. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, any support?
Support.
All right, support by Mr. Murphy. Any discussion? All right, discussion, second round. All right, the roll call, Madam Clerk, excuse me, to amend resolution 230476.1. Ms. Worthing?
Ms. Worthing, school teacher?
Yes.
Pay attention.
Motion to amend.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Garland?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shand?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no.
Vote is 8 yes, 0 no. Resolution 230476 has been amended to point 1. So now what's the pleasure of the body?
I would like to move resolution 230460.1.
No, that's not it.
How come it's not?
That's one.
230460.1.
476.
Oh, hold on. What we at?
I think we just
Page 6 at the top number, page 6.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Priestley?
I think since the, do we need to,
Oh,
I always get confused when we do the amendment.
Madam Chair.
Do we just go ahead and go to vote?
Madam Chair.
Please hold, Mr. Pfeiffer. Ms. Priestley?
Do we need just to approve the amendment now that the amendment has been passed?
Yes, so.
We need a motion for that amendment.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Pfeiffer?
I move to approve 230476.1.
Support.
All right, it has been moved and supported by Ms. Priestley to approve resolution 230476.1. And, any discussion? Approved by Ms. Priestley. Any support? I'll support. Any discussion?
He made the motion, I
Any
support.
discussion? Any discussion, second round? All right, so now we're about to vote to approve resolution 230476.1. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Mr. Garland?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shand?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing? Vote 8 yes, 0 no.
Well, 8 yes, 0 no. That resolution passes. Last, resolution of the evening is resolution 230460.1. What's the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Priestley?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve it. is supported by Ms. Wiley.
Call
Any
the question.
discussion? All right, call for the question. Mr. Murphy, any support?
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Mushat.
He would like that.
All right now. And so, go ahead, Madam Clerk. We are voting to call the question.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Murphy Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Shad?
Yes.
Ms. Piper? Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. 5 minutes, 3 no?
Vote is 5 yes, 3 no. Is there,
Motion to adjourn.
is there a motion to adjourn? Any no?
No, we have to vote on it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, you withdraw your motion?
Yes.
All right. So now it's time to vote for that resolution. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shad?
Yes.
Mr. Piper?
I abstain because that, resolution needed to be reworded and we're cutting steps.
Madam Chair.
You proceed?
Ms. Worthing? Ms. Worthing?
Oh, yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Otis?
Madam Chair. I'd like to change my vote.
Go ahead. Right.
Thank you. I'd like to change my vote to abstain because of the verbiage and formatting.
All right.
Ms. Otis, 5 yes, 1 no, 2 abstentions.
Vote is 5 yes, 1 no, 2 abstentions, so that resolution passes. So now the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Supported by Ms. Jack. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Murphy Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Shad?
Yes.
Ms. Piper? Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 8 yes, 0 no. The Flint City Council meeting is now adjourned at 11:37.
Hey, there's no fat lady say.
So, whatever you do, do it for snow day tomorrow. So I can sleep. Viva, schools are closed? No, yeah, but they were supposed to be. It's not looking as much, but I'm saying, say your prayer. Oh. I'm gonna sleep. Yeah. Hopefully sleep in. I have to. And my garage. My butt hurts.
You're well.
My wife never watches 3 episodes of the show tonight. She watched 3 episodes of Reacher. One of the last 2 episodes of the second season of Reacher yesterday, so.
And you watched it, you've been watching
We've been binging 6 seasons this week, so she caught up.
Well, oh, she didn't watch it the first time?
No, she didn't watch the first time.
Oh, how dare she?
Won the game, though, 34.
I mean, there was